Welcome to the Worst of the Riot podcast. Coming up, the unexpected best place to sit on an airplane.
Also, love them or leave them. Can furniture end your relationship? And more on the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Good day. Welcome to Wednesday on the show. You know what that means. Battle of the Buzz. And this is one that's going to have people talking. Fit for a King and Wolves at the Gate in the Battle of the Buzz today. That's about an hour from now, so stick around for that. Hello, Isaiah.
Hi there.
Here's a question for you that JR was asking last night. Saw some people texting it about this too. JR asked, how often do you wash your belly button?
I saw him talking about this.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Because I saw texts.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I'm in the shower, it's just one of the many things you wash.
How do you
grace over.
How do you wash it?
You just grace over it.
No, I think gracing over, it sounds like you're not washing it.
No, but
like
you are.
Inside. Like, are you sticking anything inside to clean it out?
Don't ask me if I'm sticking anything inside anything. You don't ask somebody a question like that.
It's your belly button. It's okay.
No. What's wrong with you?
It's important. It's medical. It's for your health. Is your belly button clean right now?
Yes. Hudson, yet again, don't ask me if I'm clean. These are questions you don't ask people. Don't ask me if I'm clean.
But how do you know? How do you know it's clean?
Because I took a shower this morning. Did you shower this morning?
I showered yesterday.
Nope. Dirty.
What do you...
Don't ask me if I'm clean if you haven't even showered on a day that you're asking someone you're clean.
It's so early. Why haven't I showered
care.
already?
No. You asked me if I was clean.
Yeah.
And you haven't even showered today.
So you think my belly button got dirty overnight?
No, I'm just saying if you're gonna ask somebody else if they're dirty, you got to be clean.
I think I'm pretty clean, but I'm actually concerned that my belly button might not be clean enough. Because I heard JR talking about this and people chiming in, and he was concerned that he wasn't washing it enough. But there wasn't an answer about how often you should wash it. So then I had to go ahead and check. And you know how often you need to clean your belly button, give it a good deep clean?
How often?
It's recommended once a week.
Once a week, clean your belly button.
Yeah, you got to get in there. Listen to this. It's not just like, what did you say, gracing over it either?
Gracing over.
You can't just grace over it.
You just do the slide by.
Supposedly, you're supposed to dip a cotton swab in rubbing alcohol and gently rub the surfaces inside your belly button. Then if the swab gets dirty, throw it away and start a new one. Okay, that's obvious. Why
it's different from people to people, though.
How do you know?
Because Hudson,
you're a belly button expert.
No, I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you have an innie versus a downy, that's going to determine how you're cleaning it.
Clearly, yes.
You don't even know what I have.
No, I don't.
So then, these questions you're asking me, you're way out of bounds here with this.
Do you know anybody that has an Audi?
I have an Audi.
You have an Audi?
See, now these are the questions you can't be asking people when you don't know their belly button circumstances. So when I say I grace over my belly button, that's what I mean.
I guess you do have that as an advantage of an Audi.
It's more of a halfie, but
a halfie.
That's kind of what I refer to it as. It's not an Audi, but it's not an innie. I refer to my belly button as a halfie.
I don't think. When do you refer to your belly button?
When people ask me if I have an innie or Audi, I say I have a halfie.
When do they ask that?
That happens many a times if I'm at the pool.
Oh, okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. Because mine's
can't they see it?
Yeah, mine's
so
not
they're
like
seeing it and they're curious.
It's been
like, what do you call that thing?
It's been enough times to where I have a name for it. It's called a halfie.
For the first time that you were asked, you were unprepared.
I was like, I guess it is kind of half in, half out. I thought I had an innie, but I guess, now that I see your innie, I don't think I have an innie.
Yeah. I learned a lot about, I don't know about belly buttons in general, but I've learned a lot about yours.
You've learned too much about mine.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
While I'm far from a gamer, there are a few video games that can get me excited. And one of them is coming this summer. EA Sports NCAA college football is about to make its long-awaited return, and rumors were swirling recently suggesting that we have a release date for EA Sports. It's actually EA Sports College Football. It's supposed to be back on July 12th of this year, supposedly.
2 days before my birthday.
Yeah, what a present that would be. Shopping for you would be easy. Now, that was reported here just a few days ago, by a reporter that covers the Florida Gators football team. However, in time since then, you might think that's an odd person to be the first one to break that news. And it may be because EA Sports, while they won't deny it, that is when it comes out, they also, at this time, refuse to confirm that is definitely the release date, although they have said over and over, and they said again now, it's coming this summer, but they haven't specifically set a date that they are ready to announce yet. But I mean, I think July 12th, this is a weird thing to put out there. I feel like it might be true. We just don't have confirmation yet.
Well, it's very exciting.
It is very exciting. And for those who, like it's been so long since EA Sports had a college football game out. For reference, the cover of the most recent EA Sports NCAA football, it was Denard Robinson. And most people are probably thinking, who's that? Exactly. Because he hasn't played college football for 10 years and he didn't make it in the NFL. He was a quarterback for Michigan. It was kind of fun at the time. But that's how long it's been. It's been 10 years since we've got EA Sports college football. And now I think we can kind of set July 12th in our minds as a target date for when we'll finally get it.
Well, it's exciting. I mean, you think about going back to then, who's going to be on the cover now?
Who could be on the cover now? Who would be a good choice?
I think I know who it's going to be, but I want to hear what you think.
I think it's, I'm trying to think. Who's still going to be? I just keep thinking of guys that were in college this year that are going to be gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be somebody that's actually in. I don't know, maybe like Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe from Alabama, the quarterback.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Not a bad choice. I think that's a pretty good choice.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be either Deion Sanders or Shadur Sanders.
Yeah.
What a way to relaunch the game.
That would build a lot of hype for sure. Let me ask you this. Say it is July 12th. You're taking the day off of work?
No,
you don't do that for even a game of this caliber?
I don't have that many vacation days, brother. I can't just be swinging a millie.
It's right before your birthday.
Willy-nilly like that.
I was going to say I wouldn't take it off on July 12th because I feel like
it's a Friday anyway.
It's a Friday. It's EA Sports.
You can stay up all night.
The first day of a game, they're going to mess something up, like the online play or whatever. So maybe I'll take off the next Friday. Let them work out the kinks, work out the bugs.
I don't think I'm allowed at this age to be taking days off work for EA Sports. Now, if it was a different game.
Don't you start saying that.
For NCAA football, 14.
Listeners out there,
older
than you.
For many of other games, I would, not for this one.
Next.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the Riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Much of the country over the past week or so has been beaten and battered by blizzards. Snowstorms have swept up a lot of the nation, and with snowstorms comes snow shoveling. But did you know that snow shoveling can be very dangerous? I'm seeing here that on average, about 100 people die while snow shoveling every year.
How is that possible? Maybe from slipping and falling. Hypothermia.
Both of those could be.
They get a little bit too advantageous.
Potential dangers. It seems here from what I'm reading, maybe there's even more deaths that are chalked up to those things you mentioned. But the killer mentioned here is cardiac arrest. People are getting heart attacks while they're out snow shoveling. It says that people over the age of 45, typically, particularly at risk. So if you're over the age of 45 and somebody asks you to get out there and start shoveling, say, no, thank you. I'd like to live. But for the rest of us, we're still probably going to be stuck shoveling out there. Isaiah, here's a question I actually have. How much snow does there have to be for you to actually feel the need to shovel?
It has to be a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Like if it's like a little dusty, I'm not going to shovel.
Yeah. You have sidewalks that are like required to be shoveled?
Not for me.
No. That's lucky for you.
Yeah, I don't have sidewalks that are required to be shoveled.
Yeah.
Not for me.
You ever lived in a place like that?
Mm-mm.
Lucky you,
See,
I guess.
sidewalks?
I have sidewalks outside my house. I believe that if it hits a certain amount of snow, I'm responsible. I don't really know
What's
how
that in
much.
your contract?
Yeah,
Or is that like a
it's like-
neighborly thing?
No, it's not neighborly. Although if you ever do go out and walk in the snow, it does suck if like most of the neighborhood has their sidewalk shoveled and then you get to a house that doesn't. It's kind of annoying to have to, if there's enough snow there. But
They're like yelling up at the house. Shovel your sidewalk.
yeah, I'm shaking my fist at
Why are you outside? There's
Right.
snow everywhere.
Uh-huh. That's a fair point. You could just stay in the house. But yeah, no, for if you live in town with sidewalks, I don't know what the punishment. I think you can. I don't know that there's some watchman that's out there handing out tickets.
Oh, there is.
To houses that don't shovel when it gets to 3 inches of snow.
They're not
If-
real tickets. They're like neighborhoodly ones, but someone's got them
Yeah,
that they've printed off in their house.
And if it's not some watchman that can hand out the tickets, the fines they have to pay, there's definitely somebody complaining about you on Nextdoor or the Facebook community group. Some older person probably that's just older than you.
What I think people need to do, because shoveling is dangerous for people that are a little bit older
Mhm.
because of this cardiac arrest thing, I think it needs to be more advertised, because when I was a kid, there was many a times where my friends and I would go around with shovels.
You did that.
And we would want to be paid like $20 to shovel a driveway because we were money-hungry high schoolers, right?
Yeah.
And I think that if you're like an older person, that you just need a sign to like put in your front yard saying like,
Yes.
somebody shovel this for $20 or whatever it is, and it'll be shoveled like snap of the fingers. I will come shovel it
Yeah.
for $20.
I think that's true. I think if you advertised
Yeah.
that you were looking snow shovelers wanted, I think you'd have that thing as soon as a flake hits the ground, somebody would be at your door.
Because kids are walking around town, at least where I grew up, kids are walking around town and they didn't know whose door to knock on. Obviously, that's a scary thing.
Right.
We were knocking on doors and like, hey, do you need your driveway plowed? And a lot of people said no.
I'm not even a child and I'd do that. And I hate shoveling snow,
Me too.
but I also like earning a quick, easy buck.
So if you'd like your driveway shoveled, even though there's not really much snow on the ground, we will do it.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Wolves at the gate in the Battle of the Buzz, a close call to say the least, but fit for a king emerges victorious in the Battle of the Buzz. Now, we mentioned this, that so much of the country, it is wintertime, has experienced some wild winter weather over the last few days. And for a lot of people, depending on how extreme it is, that means getting to call off of work. Like, why would you go in? You can't even get out anywhere. But I have here some employees on TikTok. Their attempt to call off of work due to the winter storm that hit Portland, Oregon over the weekend was thwarted because their boss volunteered for all the people that were on the schedule that tried to call out due to the storm. The boss decided to go pick each and every one of them up. So they had no excuse not to come in and work. Isaiah, what do you make of that?
That's a pretty good boss.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a good boss. He came and picked you up. That way you go to work.
Yeah, but here's what I thought. I thought it is nice. I thought, especially you think about this. You think about this, right? That if these are hourly employees, actually missing a shift actually could, that would really suck.
Yeah.
You're not going to get your full paycheck. So if you wanted to come into work and you just weren't able to because of the weather, that's nice. But then again, maybe you did want the day off and you tried to call out. And then the boss is like, "Oh, no worries. I can come get you. I can manage these roads." But think about this. If you can't get out of your house because of the bad weather, who's coming in to the Verizon store on a day like that? If you can't get out for something you get paid to do, why is somebody going to come out to your job? And how many customers are you going to have in there? You can get by with a bare bones crew. The boss doesn't have to go by and pick every single person up. The boss themselves being there is probably enough.
See, I get where you're coming from here. I get what you're saying. But I unfortunately disagree in the way that many a times you wake up in the morning and you're like, how in the world am I supposed to get to work today?
Yeah.
And then by noon, everything's fine.
Sure.
And the world is working as it typically goes. And the other thing that I would argue is if nobody's coming into the store,
Yeah.
what an easy day to work.
I guess so.
What an easy day to just hang out and work.
Yeah. That is true. A lot of the best days, I think about working at like Panera, were the days where the weather was bad and nobody showed up, so you could just chill out all day. And I know they say if you can lean, you can clean. But even the managers have, most managers anyways, had a tendency to, if nobody's coming in because it's a snow day, then we're going to have a snow day attitude too. And we're here, we're getting our paychecks. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to be down on our hands and knees scrubbing. You ever called off of work simply because of the weather?
Hudson, I once crashed my car in this very parking lot on a bad snowy day.
I recall
You
that.
think that I've called off for weather? No.
Do you remember? I did it. It was probably about a year ago. I was snowed in, could not get out,
Oh, yeah.
no matter what I tried. So I am glad on that day. Although,
I made it to work that day.
that was early in the year. I wasn't psyched about having to use a vacation day on that. So that is a bummer. But the alternative would be missing part of my paycheck, which I'm also not psyched about. So I would just like to not have to make that call, not have to make that decision.
Well, you can talk to the sledgehammer. Maybe he'll pick you up.
That's right. I think you know what? I would have put it past him. It'd be an early morning for him, though.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
I have a guy who just had what sounds like a pretty horrible flight from Bengaluru Airport to Mumbai. That's or it was from Mumbai to Bengaluru in India. The problem with the flight was this guy, shortly after takeoff, had to go to the bathroom. For some reason on the plane, they call it a lavatory.
Yep.
Never call it that anywhere else, only on a plane. I don't know why. But after he did his business, he quickly realized he tried to exit the lavatory. He was unable to. Somehow the door got stuck. It got locked. He was trapped inside. And try as he might, he wasn't able to escape. Apparently, he didn't get anybody's attention. And so he spent the duration of the rest of the flight from Mumbai to Bengaluru stuck in the bathroom. Doesn't say much for the bathroom. Also doesn't say much about the rest of the people on the flight. Why didn't they have to go? Not a single other person need to use the toilet? Questionable.
That's hard to believe. That's
It
hard
is
to believe.
Even on a short flight, feels hard to believe.
And then you think at the same time, he didn't let anybody know. But how would you go about letting someone know?
How
What would be the best way?
loud is the appropriate level of loudness? Like, how much panic or commotion can you make in there?
Because usually, like, the flight attendants are, like, right there.
Yeah, right?
They're sitting right there. And so, like, maybe you begin with maybe, like, a knock and, like, a, hey.
Yeah.
It also is embarrassing that you can't get out.
Yeah, it is.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking, like, am I twisting this knob wrong? That's the first thing I go to.
You're definitely thinking, I'm the dumb one here. And
Why
so
can't I
it
open
would be
the door?
embarrassing, yeah.
And then you're, like, using your shoulder. You're, like, kind of, like, slamming into it a little bit.
You're trying to, you got to shimmy it. You got to give it a little shimmy, give it a little shake.
And then you start to figure out that maybe it is stuck. And then
Yeah.
you start progressively getting louder, like, can anybody hear me? I'm stuck in the bathroom. Nobody noticed?
Yeah,
But-
apparently not.
But my twist on this, right? I think maybe this could be if you're maybe sitting in the middle of the flight,
Yeah,
you're a middle seat, maybe this is a more comfortable place to stay.
that's true.
You have a nice lean, you could probably sleep in there pretty easy, right?
I was starting to, I'm with you that it's actually, I'm looking at the positives of this. One, it's so, to me, awkward. I almost never on a flight do get up to go to the bathroom because it's awkward. there's always somebody else in there. So then you're like waiting, but you're not supposed to wait at the door, right? You're supposed to go back to your seat, which is a horrible, just not a good process, not very efficient at all. Because then somebody just gets up at the right time and you're still left there waiting. Yeah, so you have easy access to use the bathroom as much as you need to. And you think if the door blows off the plane, the bathroom's got to be the safest place to be.
It is a safe place.
Yeah, so at this time, I think especially if you want to feel safe, you hide in the bathroom the entire time.
And like you can lean. If you have a middle seat, then you can lean against the wall. It's probably an easier sleep in there.
Yeah, it's more spacious than wherever you were probably actually seated, even if you were in first class.
And then imagine, this is what I also imagine. Imagine if he did get out like an hour later. This dude's been in the bathroom for a full hour.
Yeah.
And then like he's sitting next to you, like you see him coming back down. You're like, this guy's been in the bathroom for an hour.
Brother, this guy stinks!
He comes back, he just smells bad.
Yeah. You are going to have the plane bathroom smell lingering on you, probably. Well, that's, you know what? I'm looking here. It says that they did try to get him out during the flight. They weren't able to.
They couldn't get him out?
Yeah.
Imagine the scene. You got to wait till everybody else gets off the plane to exit. You cannot be seen as the guy who's been stuck in the bathroom the whole flight. There's no way anybody can see your face.
Yeah. And now I'm wondering if there were people that needed to go.
There probably were.
What a horrible flight for everybody.
Get him out of there!
Yeah, come on.
My kid's got to pee!
People are like dancing in the aisles.
There's never been a can of worms they didn't open. The Riot, Radio U.
Today's question, it's an original one, and it is a doozy. Would you rather always smell like throw up, vomit, not ideal, or always have just a little bit of your butt crack showing, peeking out, no matter what you do? What do we need to run through here that people need to know before they make up their minds and answer on this one at 8772 Radio U?
Well, I think the obvious thing is like cologne, perfume, deodorant. That's not saving you.
Yeah. It doesn't, there's no, I'll choose always throw up because then I can just cover it up with deodorant. No, it doesn't work like that. It's basically, this is a supernatural scenario. No matter how you try, you're going to smell like vomit, or no matter what you do, somehow a little bit of your butt crack is always showing.
And on the other half, obviously, like you can't be like, well, just wear a long hoodie. I'll wear baggy shirts that will cover it. Unfortunately, you're wearing tank tops. It's like I don't know what to tell you.
It's like in the Santa Claus when Scott Calvin's beard just keeps growing back as soon as he shaves. But it's a little, just a tippy top of your butt crack. Somehow it always shows.
I know what my answer is.
Do you?
I feel pretty confident with this one.
I don't know if I know yet. I'm going to have to see some arguments presented from both sides. 8772 Radio U. Would you rather always smell like vomit or always have just a little tiny bit of your butt crack showing?
I haven't seen a butt crack in a while popping out from anybody.
That's good.
I'm pretty grateful for that.
Yeah.
Add a little Riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at Radio U Official. The Riot, Radio U.
Would you rather always smell like vomit no matter what you do? There's nothing you can do to change it. Or would you rather always somehow have just a little bit of your butt crack sticking out, visible to those behind you at all times? Again, no matter what you do. People are chiming in. We heard from Brandon, who said...
Brandon called us. You can always call us, too, 8772 Radio U.
Absolutely. Brandon said he can't stand the smell of throw up. In fact, it makes him want to throw up. So even though the question itself doesn't involve you throwing up, it's just you smell like throw up, the smell of throw up would make him throw up. And so he doesn't want to do that the rest of his life. So butt crack it is.
And he says he feels as if maybe sometimes his butt crack pops out anyway.
Yeah.
And he said that he's lived a full life of every now and then maybe it's sliding out. And it's been no issue to him this far.
Can any of us be sure that our butt crack isn't showing at any given moment? How can you really assure that it's not? You can't see it. So we've probably all been there. Regina shared similar sentiments. She said, as much as it annoys me seeing people's butt cracks, there's someone very close to her that always seems to have a little bit of it out. She cannot stand the smell of vomit. She can't stand vomit in general, so she's going to be a plumber. Is that an outdated stereotype, the plumber, the crack out?
I haven't ever had a plumber at my home.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't know.
Likewise.
If you are a plumber, is this an annoying thing for you?
I think it's got to be, right?
Right?
Plumbers have to hate that.
Like, what a stupid thing, you know? Like, because what? They're working under the sink?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm doing something you have no clue how to do.
Because, like, everything that they have to work with is a little bit low, so they have to, like, bend over.
You don't have to stand here and watch me. It's not like you can correct me if I do something wrong, or you wouldn't have called me in the first place. Adam says, either way, my life is over, but I have to go with the vomit.
Oh, he's going vomit.
He's going vomit. I was thinking the two angles of this. So here's the first angle. I still haven't made up my mind on this, but I'm thinking the vomit one, as Brandon, Regina pointed out, like that affects you, not just like people's perception of you, but it affects you because you're going to smell the vomit.
Yes.
I can only imagine that if a little bit of your butt crack is sticking out, you're unaware of that, or else how would there be people that have their butt crack sticking out? It's not like it's just I guess not a very sensitive area, perhaps. So you don't notice the slight change in temperature if it's sticking out. But then I also thought, but which would you rather be known as? Because if you always smell like vomit, you're going to be known as vomit guy.
Mm-hmm.
If your butt crack's always sticking out, you're going to be known as butt crack guy. So which would be more painful, more detrimental to your prospects in life? And that's a tough calculation to make too.
Philip's going butt crack. Todd says butt crack for sure, not that offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Sam says PPC, perpetual plumber's crack. Max, the plumber thing is real. I'm going butt crack.
You're going butt crack.
The reason I'm going with that instead of vomit
is
because I think that my friends would still accept me. You know, I wouldn't
if your butt crack was out.
I wouldn't be like hard to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, people would be like, oh, there it is. Like,
yeah.
There's Isaiah, and yet again, shocker, it's
Yeah.
out. But like the whole vomit thing, that makes you hard to be around. Like you working with me,
Yeah.
if I smelled like vomit, you would hate me. But if my butt crack's out right now, no worries. You can love somebody who's always showing a butt crack. Many of us do.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I kind of lean towards vomit.
Ugh.
But because I think, like, personally, I think I would get used to it. Like, eventually, you don't smell yourself, no matter what you smell, like good or bad. You typically don't smell yourself, so I think you would get used to it. But it would be hard to overcome. However, like, I don't know, if people are seeing your butt crack all the time, I feel like that one's tougher for strangers. But then again, nobody's going up and correcting a stranger that they, like, hey, you might want to pull your pants up. So
I recently had someone tell me my butt crack was showing within like the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing.
Yeah. See, who wants to go through that?
And then you wonder, how long? How long have you let me live this way?
How many other people saw it and said nothing?
Hudson is the maple syrup, and Isaiah is the power protein flapjack. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Oh,
You like that, Hud? You like
now
that?
we're talking.
It's time for Love 'em or Leave 'em. Whether you're head over heels in love or on the fence about your partner, it's time to help you navigate the tricky terrain of love.
Oh, I love them so far.
Oh, love it. Hudson and I had a texter text in asking for a little bit of advice.
Okay.
This is a couple, the ages of 25 and 27, getting ready to move in with each other for the first time and ran into a bit of an issue.
Okay. A roadblock.
Let me lay it out for you. She texted in, I just ended an argument with my boyfriend by informing him I wouldn't be moving in with him after all. He says I'm being dramatic and overreacting. I think he's waving red flags at me. This is the situation. They've been dating for 2 years, decided to move in together when the lease ends. She's moving in next week. His lease ends in 3 months, so he's going to move in then.
Okay.
That way he's not paying 2 leases at once.
Makes sense.
Tonight, while eating dinner, I mentioned that we should decide what furniture to keep and what to get rid of once he moves in. I was under the assumption that I would move in, And for the next 3 months, I would have all my stuff in there.
Yeah.
That's when her boyfriend got confused and said, "What do you mean? Won't you be getting rid of most of your stuff?"
Yeah, you obviously hate your own stuff, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And then he said, "Babe, you can't expect me to live somewhere decorated the way your apartment is." She was offended, obviously.
No.
But she did say she understood that her decorating style isn't what most people go for. For context, my decor is what one of my friends likes to call it, Barbie meets goth. My couch
Sounds
is
great.
My couch is pink, my coffee table teal. My TV stand is gray with bright blue floral contact paper lining the shelves and cabinets.
Okay.
So her issue is this man actually expects me to move into the apartment, live there for 3 months, get rid of everything I own when he moves in, which she pointed out was ridiculous. And she also said that she made many of these things, so they do mean a little bit more to her. So she told him, ultimatum time, here we go, love that. So I told him that until he apologizes for insulting me and my style and agrees to let me keep at least half of my things, he will not be moving in. Her name is currently the only name on the lease. As she also says, I'm the only one who can afford the apartment by myself.
Ooh.
Throwing that, I'm throwing the weight around.
Yeah.
So I won't be adding him to the lease until I believe he's truly sorry for what he said. Love him or leave him.
So should I just simply answer whether they should break up or not? Or do we want some advice?
Maybe we should get some texters to add in here.
Yeah.
Is this ridiculous?
Do we have some solutions? Maybe?
Should she get rid of all of her things?
Mm-hmm.
Is keeping half fair? How do you decide? I don't even know this. How do you decide what furniture you keep when you move in with your partner?
That's a good question, actually. 8772 Radio U, chime in for this love 'em or leave 'em if you've got any helpful tips for this couple. And we'll see what people are saying. Coming up next.
You don't always have to agree with Isaiah to always disagree with Hudson. The Riot. Radio U.
Girlfriend is upset with her boyfriend. They're getting ready to move in together. But the big issue is he does not like her decorating style. He was a little bit offensive about it and said that she pretty much has to get rid of all of her stuff. They're going to move in all of his furniture into there. She says, no, we have to keep at least half of my stuff or else we're not moving in together. What to do?
Yes, this is a tough one. Brian texted in. Brian says, get married before you move in together. Pooper, get off the pot.
There you go.
Yeah. Get married and then find out about these issues. No, that probably is going to fight. Bailey says, relationships are built on compromise and understanding. If you can't get over a furniture conversation, you probably aren't ready to live together or get married. That's true. I think that's hitting on the surface of you have to figure out how to compromise. But you have to figure out how. Like, the easy answer is yes, we need to compromise. But how? What is the compromise you need to find? Rachel says the furniture conversation should have happened way before they decided to move in. I also have a somewhat eclectic decorating style, and I can't imagine having someone I cared about bad-mouthing my taste and preferences like that. I say she should dump the guy and move on.
We're calling for a dumping.
Yep.
Leave him.
That's a leave him. It sounds like I feel like Brian and Rachel are definitely going leave him. Here's my thing, right? I think the leave them is what I lean towards, because if you're arguing over furniture like this and you're not even married or moving in together, or like you haven't lived together yet, it seems to be an issue. Like if you're going to argue over this, you're going to argue over other more important stuff too. But at the same time, just the very fact that this is a dilemma for her means that she really likes the guy. But he's also bad-mouthing her furniture. I guess I tend towards leave him. But my advice would be, she's moving in first, right?
Yes.
How long before he moves
3
in?
months.
3 months. So you're not going to live furnitureless for 3 months. So you take all your furniture as the gal. You move in first. You're paying the lease. You take all your furniture. And then you have 3 months to figure it out. Kick the can down the road is what I say.
Oh, you're saying kick the can.
Yes.
Oh, you're ridiculous. We need a true stance here. See, what I think, for me, her living style, for me, with the Barbie meets goth, though not my style, I'll be honest. And she even says that she has a little bit of an out there style that not everybody would love.
Yeah, she admits it.
Which I respect. I also think that for like him as a partner, you're sharing a space together.
Yeah.
That means that you're sharing everything 50-50.
You got to share it.
And he literally tells her, like, I think that your style is like a big part of who you are and things like that, obviously, because she made a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And so then I'm just thinking, like, is he really even accepting you for who you are? If he is completely dismaying all the things that you literally built and all of the things that you want to bring into your house and bring a little bit of character in, if you're going to share the space, you got to be able to figure at least being able to know what's important to somebody. And if he's saying absolutely not, we're not having your stuff in there, and like that's going to make me look ridiculous, whatever his reasoning is, it doesn't sound like he's being very reasonable.
Yeah.
I think if he's not willing to at least let you have 50% of your stuff in there, you're out of there, girl.
Yeah. One of the things that can simply be said about any of these love and leaves we ever get is most healthy relationships don't begin with an ultimatum.
Not usually. Not usually.
I would say, I guess my real true stance would be, I really do think she should take her furniture in there. She's moving either way.
Yeah,
her
she's
name's on the
moving in there.
lease. She's leaving her other place. You move in. You've got 3 months. You and him can try to figure it out, and you'll see as you get closer. You got 3 months to discuss it. If he loves his furniture more
so
than he loves
much.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, like, are you moving into like that's also your home that you're paying for, or are you moving into his hotel? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's right. I think that's some good advice. 8772 Radio, you can chime in with your opinion on Love 'Em or Leave 'Em.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.